Hello, Leo. Welcome to Cat Mama Tarot and welcome to this timeless reading. I trust that this reading will find you right when you need it, but as always, please use your discernment. If the messages aren't resonating, then come back and watch the video another time, or just come back and watch a different video. Also, feel free to watch this for any Leo placements in your chart. All right, let's dive in, Leo. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining me today. Let's see what messages we've got for you. All right, we start with in nature, connect with nature, followed by intention, spinning fate, and connection. We're all connected. Ooh, so we've got a little bit of a theme of connection here, connecting with nature, connecting with others, recognizing how interconnected all of us are, right? With nature, with each other. At the bottom of the deck, oh gosh, this card, I don't remember seeing this card before. At the bottom of the deck, we've got insight, be open to enchantment. All right, Leo, well, this feels like a very spiritual reading here. I'm going to start with the bottom of the deck, which I don't always do, but I was very drawn to it. So, insight, be open to enchantment. And I mean, these cards all are very nature oriented, but I'm just noticing the moon and the animals. And we do have a lunar eclipse coming up. If you're watching this when I post it, it's coming up this week, which is supposed to be kind of a big event. We'll see. Time will tell, but it could be significant timing for you, or the next full moon or lunation, whatever that is, coming up for you whenever you're watching this. In nature, connect with nature. And this is the card right before insight. So you're being encouraged here to get out into nature to the extent possible. I know that's not always possible for everybody, but by getting out into nature, getting outside, kind of just really observing the animals and what's going on around you, and just getting into a place of peace and quiet is really an opportunity here to kind of open yourself up to some insights. And I believe these insights are actually going to help you get clear on, or clearer on, what your intentions are moving forward here, Leo. And based on the fact that we've got the connection card next and we're all connected, perhaps these intentions have to do with friends, family, your professional network, connecting with others, somehow getting into a place of more connection or increased connection, or somehow focused on connecting with others in some way. Very interesting, Leo. Let's see what additional messages we have here from the tarot. Yeah, and the insights could be about, what I'm hearing is how you want to be connecting to people. All right, we start here with the Queen of Pentacles, followed by the Emperor, the Three of Swords, the Page of Pentacles. At the heart of your reading, we've got the Seven of Cups, followed by the Seven of Swords, the Five of Swords, the Death card, I'm getting focused on the messages here and distracted from my shuffling. So let me focus here. I'm pulling our last card so I can start talking to you about what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing. And that could also be a message for you, Leo, is kind of trying to stay focused and so as not to get distracted here. All right, at the bottom of the deck, oh, sorry, the last card here is the Ace of Wands, and at the bottom of the deck, we've got the King of Swords. Well, it's funny that I was getting kind of distracted here because at the heart of your reading, as I mentioned, we've got the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups can speak to being in a state of confusion, not knowing exactly what direction to go, what option to pick. It can speak as well to being in kind of a an imagine like a I just saw a spider, so that could be another relevant thing here for you. We'll get back to that in a second because they definitely made their presence known to me just now. And another distraction, which is interesting. Because when I think about spiders, I think about creativity, right? And making your dreams real. It can also speak to kind of weaving your web so that you can attract what it is that you want. And so perhaps that is what you're getting. So maybe you're not feeling clear about those kinds of things, what it is that you want to create, what kind of things you want to attract into your life right now, what kinds of, like, what are your intentions here, right? Like, what is it that you want to move towards right now? What is it that you want to create in your life? So the Seven of Cups, being that it speaks to this kind of confusion or kind of maybe, it can be feeling spoiled for options, right? Like, oh, I'm not sure where I want to go, what I want to do. Just based on the oracle cards, right? The advice is to get into nature, right? To kind of remove yourself from the din, from the chaos of everyday life, and connect to nature and really tune in, because that actually could provide you with some insights that help you get clarity. We've got the Queen of Pentacles here, which is our Queen of the material realm. So the Queen of Pentacles is very patient. She totally trusts in herself and in her ability to have all that she desires, all of the abundance. Look, she's like kind of swimming in coinage here. So she is super abundant. She's super earthy, very maternal, nurturing, grounded, and like I said, patient. So you are being asked to embody the qualities of the Queen of Pentacles as you go through this process. If you have faith and trust in yourself and your ability to create the life you want, to create whatever it is that you want in your life, that helps you feel more patience with the timing of things. With the Emperor here, which is our Aries major arcana card, the highest version of the Emperor really leads from a balanced place. He recognizes the importance of the divine masculine, but of also the Empress, right? And the role that the Empress plays. So the divine feminine is also needed, and both are needed in balance to truly lead in a way that benefits everybody. With the Three of Swords here, this could be speaking to some kind of healing that is either needed or that you are going through right now. Whenever we have some of the more challenging cards come up here in the tarot, I firmly believe that they come up because we're either working on this or we're ready to work on this. So the Three of Swords speaks to kind of wounding and betrayals and past pain. But ultimately, it speaks to the need to heal those things and to really heal them so that you can release the past and leave the pain and the past behind. With the Page of Pentacles here, you're being asked to not only embody the Queen of Pentacles, but also to embody the Page of Pentacles, who is in a learning stance. So the Page of Pentacles is starting some kind of process that's going to lead him to this Ace of Pentacles, right? He's got the Ace of Pentacles helping lead the way, helping guide him towards what it is that he wants, towards some kind of material abundance, some kind of material opportunity, some kind of harvest. And stepping into the Page of Pentacles involves learning something new and being a student, being in that beginner mindset. So perhaps whatever it is that you are wanting to create or wanting to move towards requires you to be learning something new, to be developing some kind of knowledge base, some kind of skills, some combination of the two. And like I said, we've got the Seven of Cups right after that, followed by the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords, I feel in this case, is speaking to two different things. One aspect of the Seven of Swords, and it's right under the Three of Swords. So one aspect of the Seven of Swords is to be careful of thoughts of futility kind of infiltrating your creative process. So it's really important to be aware of any thoughts that are coming up, any things that you're telling yourself that take you to a place of feeling futility, like, oh, what's the point? What's the use? You know, kind of these old stories, this old programming, or kind of focusing on the negative. So getting into that place of self-doubt, and ultimately it's a place of self-sabotage. You know, if we keep kind of spiraling through these limiting beliefs, these old thoughts, this negative thinking, we just continue to spin, right? It doesn't really enable us to move forward. If you think about the times when you have been able to move forward with something that you want, ask yourself, was I in this state of mind? And have I ever been in this state of mind and it has actually helped me move forward? Now, the other side of the Seven of Swords, and this is, you know, perhaps what you could pivot to versus some negative thinking or thoughts of futility, is thinking about how can I do this in a different way? How can I do this in a way that's not the norm, that's not whatever, you know, the traditional way or the way that things are always done? Like, what is another way of doing this that maybe hasn't been thought of before, right? That perhaps you'll gain some insight about, ooh, I could do it this way. I've never seen this before, you know, that kind of thing. Because the Seven of Swords can really speak to being tactical, being strategic, and ultimately wanting to do things in a way that's going to bring about peace, right? That's going to be beneficial to yourself and to others, versus getting ensnared in negative thinking, thoughts that really kind of get in our way and disable us versus enable us to move forward towards what we want. Next to the connection card, it's interesting, we've got the Five of Swords. And so the Five of Swords is, I mean, you've got a few challenging sword cards here, Leo. So it does seem like this getting out into nature and finding a way to kind of quiet your mind and find a place of calm is really going to help you navigate these different mental challenges that might be coming up for you as of late, because that is what they are, right? They are challenges of the mind. They are ways of thinking that don't really serve us, that ultimately get in our way. The Five of Swords speaks to the kinds of thoughts that create conflict in the mind, right? And so, you know, being next to the connection card, you know, perhaps you are wanting to focus on making connections that are not, that actually are void of conflict, that where you're not connecting with people where you keep kind of encountering conflict, where there's a sense of competition or trying to like one up somebody else. Because the Five of Swords can speak to kind of wanting to win at all costs and kind of interactions or mental patterns that focus on kind of like winning at all costs versus everybody winning. Ultimately, we want to get out, move beyond the Five of Swords, which is a place of kind of mental conflict and potentially conflict with others, to the Six of Swords, which is mental tranquility. And so with the Death card here right next to the Five of Swords, it seems like that is something that you are focused on, that ending this kind of mental chatter, this kind of mindset that is focused on winning, this mindset that is really based in conflict or creates conflict within yourself or with others. You have this opportunity here to move beyond that and to kind of close out a chapter where maybe that was prevalent in your life, and move on to a new beginning, a new chapter that is more peaceful, that is more calm, that is more tranquil, especially in your mind, you know, where you have the ability to kind of find more calm within your mind. And I love that we end here with the Ace of Wands, because all the aces are opportunities. They are filled with potential. And so the Ace of Wands speaks to a some kind of new spark of inspiration, some kind of passion that you have the opportunity to kind of move towards, to grow, to build, to follow, right? And to serve as fuel for forward movement towards what it is that you want. And I feel like this is speaking, you know, to this insight, right? This insight could be some kind of spark of inspiration and passion, and that could help provide clarity, because at the bottom of the deck we've got the King of Swords, and the King of Swords is the king that has mastered the realm of the swords, which is the mind, which is information, communication, decision making. And so what better card to get at the bottom here, like underline the reading, to go nicely with the Seven of Cups, right? If you're feeling confusion about how to move towards what you want to move towards, how to, you know, what it is that you want to create, etc., whatever it is for you, you've got the King of Swords here reminding you that you have the ability to make excellent decisions and to really master your mental realm, right? And to do the healing, to be in a place of self-awareness, such that you're able to kind of work with any kind of negative mental patterns that are getting in your way. You know, the more we can be aware of when and how we're doing this, the more we can actually start releasing those things. And the King of Swords ultimately speaks to listening to your higher self, right? And really aligning with your higher self. You have the opportunity here to really get into alignment with your higher self through this work that involves doing some, you know, addressing some of these mental patterns that might be getting in your way here, and kind of learning some lessons from some of these, right? Like from the wounding of the past and the pain of the past, the Three of Swords, right? We can often learn some lessons that we can then apply moving forward. With the Seven of Swords, we can start using our mind more strategically and more tactically, instead of like, you know, beating ourselves up or doubting ourselves, things like that. And with the Five of Swords, we can really focus on releasing the thoughts that are getting in our way and focusing on win-win situations, right? That are going to really not only lift us up, but lift those around us up right along with us. And yeah, just to go back to the start of the reading, it could really benefit you to get out into nature and to connect with nature, to connect with people that are really supporting you as well, to focus on connections that help you, that lift you up versus that knock you down. I think that's going to help you really get clear on your intentions and provide the kind of insights that are going to help move you in the direction that you want to be going, Leo. Alrighty. I hope that was helpful. Thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate you choosing to spend your time with me. I'm sending you lots of love. Take really good care of yourself. And until next time, bye.